Now this illustration deals for clearances for conductors entering into a bus and connecting to a bus from the open bottom, or where fittings may be used to connect the conduit to the enclosure in accordance with NEC 408.5. Now let's review that illustration where fittings are used to the left-hand side of the equipment. Notice we have fittings come in. How high could those fittings penetrate? Well, you notice with fittings and everything, we connect, and they shouldn't be more than 3 inches or less with their entry with the fittings and the bushing and that kind of thing, or just a fitting that serves like a bushing. You don't, and where the problem comes in mostly is the open bottom. And if you extend that conduit up more than shown, then you notice you have to gooseneck the conductors from the raceway entering in at a greater height than 3 inches, say, and you violate 408.5 as you see the termination of the conductor gooseneck and 2 goosenecks to enter into and connect to that terminal bar. Now, the type of bus bar would determine the distance you need from the raceway where the conductor enters to the termination to the bus bar. Now notice the bus bar to the left is insulated, so you only need 8 inches. But if the bus bar is uninsulated, no insulation, just bare bus bar, then it's 10 inches. But the raceway should never enter more than 3 inches. And this again is up to the electrician to make sure that the wiring method selected in 300.17 and the way you terminate. Do you terminate with fittings or enter into an open bottom? And figure 7-9 is just showing the clearances for conductors entering and terminating to a bus bar that's in an enclosure in accordance with NEC 408.5. Electricians have to be careful with this. And if you had parallel hookups, you have to make sure those conduits are separated based upon how you're going to bond and ground them, which you would see how to do that properly in volume 2, and we would be reviewing chapter 16. Now, this chapter 7 and figure 7-9 illustrates how we terminate the conductors and the distance based upon the type of the bus bar, insulated or uninsulated. Are we terminating the conduits to fittings or coming into an open bottom as shown in the illustration? And that's what this figure 7-9 in NEC 408.5, is illustrating.